I mean, I can tell that this is very near and dear to your heart and to your families. I mean, you go around, this past week you've presented in different schools. Your mother was heavily involved in the commemorative bell ringing. Can you talk more about that and those efforts to preserve this story?
Yeah, you know, it's fantastic. If you look, if the viewers can see, I got a couple of different posters here. And we have a booklet. These are from Superior Hills Elementary, from Sandy Knoll, from Gwynn. My mother used to go around to different elementary schoolrooms and speak to second and third graders about the history of the Fitzgerald and what life was like sailing on the lakes, and my grandfather's story from youth coming up. My mother and her sister and my grandmother actually used to winter in Ashtabula, Ohio and Milwaukee on board docked ships for the winter.
Wow.
And caretake. And we have pictures of them celebrating Christmas in the dining room of ore boats. But yesterday I actually went to Lakeview Elementary in Negaunee, and one of the teachers, Janet Civila Ringette, who my mother actually 28 years ago presented in her classroom. I saw a box of cards and letters from Janet to my mom with individual cards from the kids, and well, I know her mother, Carolyn. So I reached out to Carolyn, and lo and behold, we ended up doing 2 presentations to 124th graders at Lakeview Elementary yesterday. Wow. And when Janet opened the box and saw those cards, she just about got teary-eyed. Because that was her first year teaching, too. It was quite amazing.
The legend lives on.
Yeah, and the kids gave me this great poster, and they all signed it individually, just like my mom used to receive, too.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about this picture and all the people who signed it. I mean, it must be really nice knowing that, you know, generations on and on and on are learning more about the Fitzgerald and the significance of it, and of course, the ties that you have to it as well with your family.
Hey, John, I got to tell you, the teachers at Redfield Elementary, they're all teaching the children the history of mining in this area, the Iron Range, and how they make the pellets that end up being transported via rail to the dock in Escanaba in years past and out to the Upper Harbor in Marquette. Then they end up on boats like the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I know the Fitzgerald had been in Marquette over the years, but primarily it sailed between Superior, Wisconsin and Detroit, Michigan. Yeah. But congratulations to the teachers. They're really doing a nice job. When I asked questions of the kids, they popped off with those answers real quick. It's really special.
In doing this work, in helping keep this legend, this legacy alive, is there a lesson you've learned or a big takeaway that you found that you've experienced by reading all of this stuff and hearing about the men on board?
You know, obviously the early history of the Fitzgerald sinking, but then the most recent history, and my most recent history probably stops in 2006 when Canada changed the Ontario Heritage Act to offer protection, permits with stringent requirements if anybody was to dive. There has not been a dive on the Edmund Fitzgerald since July 5th, 1995. I believe there was a couple of guys who free dove with special mixture of gas before they enacted the changes to the Heritage Act. You know, obviously we don't encourage it. We recognize it as a grave site, and there is protection in Canada to do so. And so a lot of all that documentation, the recent history my mom collected, we have communication between the International Shipmasters Association, made up of shipping captains that sail the world and the Great Lakes, and the backing of legislators and just anybody who's anybody. My mom didn't let anything go, and she has it all in her archives. So it's a history that goes back to, you know, the 17 years the ship sailed, the day it sank, and then there's kind of a gap. We had the dive with Cousteau in '80. We had another dive in '89 with the Shipwreck Society, and then we had 2 dives in '94. One of them caused controversy by discovering human remains and freely talking about it and sensationalizing it. And that's the one thing that us family members are still united, not just my family, but other families that we're in contact with. I spoke with some today already, is that we still don't want any more dives on a Fitzgerald. We have our closure. We believe it's a consecrated gravesite, but the 50-year anniversary is difficult because there's so much sensationalism that goes on. Everybody wants to tell their story, and the only people that know the whole story are the 29 men and the Lord above. But it's hard to listen to all of it at times. That's why going to the school,
Yeah.
And doing presentations of our own. We're not profiting off anything. We just want to share the family side of the story.
Yeah. While we've been looking back at one of the UP's most powerful stories, we also want to share some exciting news about the future of the region's artistic side.
That's right, Tia. We'll be revealing the next UP Poet Laureate when we come back.